You've got your crystals, you've got your army diet, you've got your silent meditation retreat, please be quiet. You've got your oil pulling bullet journal juicing cacao. Come sit and talk about it, nothing is a sacred cow. Tell us all about the whoa that you do.
Welcome to That Will You Do. My name is Jeffrey J, and this is
Mary Lynn Rajskub.
Ooh.
I said my name like you do when you're getting a call back from the airlines or the IRS. We will call you back
when
in
you
3 days.
Slate your name at Jeffrey
Mary Lynn
J.
Rajskub, 5'6", Los Angeles.
Jeffrey J, 5'4", transgender, no top surgery. That's what I had to do in one of my self-tapes recently.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, because
Jeffrey,
they were looking for
you're
a trans
always
person.
like... You just dropped the heaviest shit so casually.
I'm sorry.
What was that for? Why did you have to say that? Is that even legal for them to ask you to say that?
It's Hollywood, baby. You do what you gotta do. You get on your
I
next
was going to
one.
say something and I held back. Okay.
You get on your next one. Mary Lynn, how tall are you?
5'6".
Mary Lynn, 5'6", has tits.
Barely. Why did you have to say that and what was it for?
I don't remember what it was for.
Hey,
Some
welcome to
casting.
That Woo You Do, the podcast where we want to know, what woo do you do that gives your life a magical flair? Do you have any secret habits that you think channel you into the magic of the universe? Like, did you have to slate your identity for some job that you don't even remember what it's for? That's the woo you do. It's called denial. You have the experience and then you push it away so you never have to feel it again.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what that was for and he doesn't care because fuck them. Was it for a reality show?
No, it wasn't, but it
My
was for
voice
something.
just got really high.
I think a
from
lot
the-
of times when a trans person is cast, that is an important part of it, because if you have to have your shirt off or something, if you're playing a trans character and they have had top surgery. Anyways, the point is, here's my woo this week.
Why would you have to have your shirt off?
If they
Whether you're a
wrote
guy or a
transgender
girl.
character, if they wrote a transgender character,
They want to know what kind of transgender you are.
yeah, if they're like, now you take your shirt off and you're like, surprise boobies, not good for the casting or for HR. It's a situation. So you got to know, you're writing a trans main character, have you had top surgery or not is important for the casting.
So it turns out something that sounded like an invasive question turns out to be the right thing to ask.
It also could have been
for
porn.
everybody.
I don't know. I come up with a lot of excuses. You know me. I justify things that shouldn't be justified.
It was the porn where I play a puppy.
Yeah.
You have that. You have that thing in your act. And you walked in on
I
like
do.
people's fantasy was acting like they're little
They're
dogs.
Oh, it's
And the
one of
lady
my...
was like carnival barking you in, like, want to throw a toy for the
Yes.
dogs?
Oh
You're
my
like,
God. That was
okay.
a Pride event.
When in Rome.
I went to a Pride event to tell the story real quick, and I walked into a thing called the dog park, and it was a sex thing where people were dressed as dogs, and I didn't know that was a thing, and I walked in and I was like, oh my God, and I went to leave, and then the lady goes, wait, and so there's like a lady there. It was like a lesbian volunteer or something. I don't know. It was two full-grown men, like in their 40s, in like knee pads with big old dog masks on, and then a lady was like, yeah, there you go, that's exactly what they look like. And so the lady goes, wait, because I went to leave, and she goes,
Oh, I don't like this.
Do you
They're
wanna-
like Mexican wrestling. It's not. It's not for me. It clearly is not for me. I just found something out about
So,
myself. This is not for me.
it was not for me either. So I went to leave, and they had knee pads on. It's just like that one. See that one sitting down like that?
Like
She
I
was just
pictured
like that.
cute, fluffy. Like
Nope.
these are hard.
Nope, this is what it was like. And there was a
Dogs.
little ball pit in the corner, and I went to leave, and the lady goes, wait. Do you want to play fetch? And I was like, yeah, I want to play fetch. I did not know I wanted to play fetch, but I do now. She handed me a rope, and I threw the
Oh,
rope.
this guy's dressed like a swashbuckler, a bondage
Yeah.
pirate /
Yep.
leather belly of an animal, white leather belly,
Yeah.
torso.
He's a good boy right there.
Superhero, but yet somehow like an 1800s soldier jacket
Yeah.
shape, but then also with the bandana.
Yeah, he's a dog and a reenactor.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was. That's the picture.
He's
I was
a
putting
dog in
together.
the Civil War.
Would you like to be a part of our reenactment? But we are also bondage dogs.
Yeah, we're dogs from the north though, so
Ooh,
it's
that carry
cool.
muskets.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, some of this is crazy. So basically, I played fetch with some grown men, and then I fed a biscuit to a grown man in a dog outfit, and I actually had a blast. And then but then I realized, because he didn't have a hole in his mouth, and she was like, "Do you want to feed him?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll feed him." Like, it would be rude not to. Like, if you walked into a regular pet store and they're like, "Do you want to feed him?" You're like, "No, fuck those dogs." I was like, "Yeah, they won't get fed if I don't feed them." So
Someone's got to do it.
took the thing and I went to give it to him, and he didn't have a hole in his mask, so he lifted up the mask and I put it in his human mouth, and that's when the facade fell away for me. And immediately I was like, "Oh, I'm feeding a 40-year-old man." It's like, I was like, and I think I might know him, so I just immediately was like, "Thank you," and walked out, and then spent the next week and a half processing.
Was it a dog biscuit or was it a human dog biscuit?
So in the moment,
Seems dry. Seems like you
Yes.
probably needed some
I
water
thought it
after
was
that.
like, I was like, "That's so cool. They make dog biscuits for humans." And it's the minute I walked out of there, I was like, "Oh, I just fed him a real dog biscuit."
Just another
I
layer.
just fed a 40-year-old man a dog biscuit, and also patted his head, called him a good boy, and threw a rope and watched two grown men. Like, if they had taken off all of the equipment and then you recreated the situation, it was real weird.
That's almost like a real life, like you're scrolling and you go, oh, but you did it in real life. You're like,
did
oh, and then you walked away going, wait, what did now I have to process.
What did I do? Yeah. And they had a little bed in there.
I was just
and they
game for it. Ooh, look at this all black.
Yeah. It's like,
See, now I've acclimated. This all black looks like, it looks like he's ready to go on a secret ops
yeah. I also
a
don't.
Navy SEAL night
He sure is. He's a guard dog.
raid.
Yeah, he's a guard dog
He's a
for
guard dog.
sure. He's one of those Rottweilers.
And his snout is capped off and flat.
Yep.
He's got a big fat nose.
I don't
big
kink shame
nose.
this though, because I do think it's like pretty innocent and stuff. So
Tell me about kink shaming.
like some people are like,
We're not kink shaming it just by talking about it.
no, not at all.
I mean, is it on the line derogatory if I'm saying you should be on a Navy SEALs
that's a
rescue
compliment.
mission?
That's a high honor for that dog.
What if that's not what they're going for? He's just curled up in the basket there.
Yeah, he wants to.
What if he's like, I'm a domestic guard dog. Don't put me in your army.
I'm a lap
lady."
dog. Don't put me to work.
I want you to bathe me and give me belly rubs. How dare you?
I think that is most of them. I don't think most of them are in training to be like seeing eye dogs. Don't touch my human. He's a therapy dog.
That's a funny kink on a kink. It's called
Yeah.
a kink on a kink.
Ooh, what's your dog's name? Bill. Okay.
But what is kink shaming, real quick?
It's whenever you make people feel bad for liking something that's not what you would think as the typical
But
sex life.
Are
So,
you doing this in public or in private?
They're
Or
doing
is
it
there
in-
different contexts?
They were doing it in private, in public.
But so if you're innocently walking into it, and
That was
you-
on me. It said the dog park, and I forgot where I
Okay,
was.
so it's expected that anyone who walks into the dog park will not be kink shaming in the dog park.
No.
Or anywhere in the.
Yes, this was in an XXX section of Pride a couple years ago in LA. So everything in there was supposed to be like sexy time stuff. And it was like sectioned off, and there was black curtains and everything. And I was like, dog park. And I don't know why I thought there would be puppies in there.
And yeah. Oh, you were looking for real puppies.
I was like, it was like sex stuff, sex toys, sex stuff. Oh, dog park, puppies. And I just walked into it thinking maybe this is like the refreshing, like, ooh, so much sex stuff. You get like then you pet a dog and you're like, oh, I feel normal again. Then you go back to sex stuff or something. I don't know.
But and I know I'm being a little dumb, but like, because I know what kink shaming, what I imagine that would be, but like, where would it occur? Like, where would somebody? Would they do it on purpose, or would they accidentally, or is it like a culture
it's
clash?
Like when people says like, oh, you're into being tied up or bondage, you're a pervert. It's when people call you perverted.
But is is it because the person wants the world to know that they're into bondage and they don't want to be shamed for it, or if they're being outed and they don't want to, you know what I mean?
It's just like, the idea of someone criticizing it. It's not. It doesn't have to be to your face, but it's like if you told me that you were into something, like I'm into only missionary vanilla sex, and I was like, ooh, you freak.
I love that twist on a kink shame. Yeah, you're non-kink. I'm gonna shame you.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna shame you for non-kink.
So it's more like just in a relationship or casual acquaintance. You want to create a safe space for people.
The only reason I say that is to say that I had this experience and I don't feel like those people were perverted. I just feel like it wasn't for me, and it was a lovely experience for me to go through. But it also equally tells people like, I'm not into that kink.
Right.
So that if somebody hears this, because I did tell that story once at a show.
Yeah.
And someone came up to me and they said, I'm into, and he said puppy play. I'm into puppy play.
Right.
And
I mean, that's
like,
true. Going back to the fact that you say it on stage, you could potentially, because you're saying it for laughs, and you're also saying it out of a genuine, because, you know, who doesn't want to hear the story, because you're like, I've had this experience.
It was fascinating and fun. And so like he was like, I'm into puppy play. And I literally, it was probably the best quick-witted thing I've ever said. I was like, I'm so sorry. That was a one-time fetching for me.
Oh, were they saying it to you like they wanted to know?
Yes, they
like,
were hitting on.
Oh,
they were hitting on me like, by the way, I'm into puppy play, and I immediately realized my mistake and was like, oh, I need you to know that like I'm not. I just had this lovely experience. I'm so glad y'all have this experience, but I never want to have that again. No, thank you. It was not sexy at all, but I'm sure it was lovely for them.
So let me play the straight white lady and ask then, when does it, well, whatever, never mind. I'm done with this subject.
Yeah,
because you know how I feel like in the general public, people are like, oh, like they make everything immediately like disgusting. But we all fucking, if you're a human who's an adult, you know what the line of decency and not decency and like
and most of the time it's consent, and that's most of the time it's consent, honestly.
and also I don't know why I'm like, will you be the expert on this? Like,
the person who's not having sex. Okay, well, I'm glad because I have to talk about this.
Here we go. In the world of kink, there's always something new to explore, as approaching kink with an open mind is key. Remember, kink is consensual sexual play, so if all parties are of age, enthusiasm, consent, and practice, and kink, like I'm totally I'm totally cool in all this. I guess I'm playing like devil's advocate of people that are like, oh, you're into bestiality, like they will take it to
that's
a place,
not consent. Again,
heyo,
it's just consent.
But I guess that's just people who are scared of life and things that are different than them, freaking out without knowing what anything is.
Or they're scared because they have their own urges. It's the same thing with like homophobia, where people have their own urges, and because of that, hatred comes out because they've never been able to express themselves in the things that they feel are not in line with what they've been told is right.
Right.
So...
which is very interesting, because in our society, so many people have not been told even anything about sex in general.
Totally. Okay, we have to talk about this because you got me this book. And
this is the ultimate That Woo You Do.
It is so good. So
hey, remember, you're listening to the podcast called That Woo You Do.
Yeah.
Which is about, do you have what is this podcast about?
It's about the things that make you feel good, but that might not have any scientific basis. It's mystical, it's magical, it's spiritual, it's the universe. Is it maybe religion sometimes? Maybe. Is it perhaps God? I don't know. Is it a rock? Also that.
Which brings us to the topic of this woman named Louise Hay, who has a famous book. I tripped out because Jeffrey knows all of these things and he didn't know this book, and I immediately sent it to him. I think she wrote it in 1976. Wow. And she's called the godmother of the New Age movement. And this is her belief system where if you, the connection between the mind and the body, and if there's something wrong with you, you have some ailment or disease, it's based in an emotional blockage.
Yeah.
And you can do affirmations to heal yourself.
I loved it and I hated it.
I know.
So much. I
know.
I loved so much of it, and then I absolutely hate half of it. But I'll tell you one thing I do love about it. When someone gives me a book, I immediately think, oh, I gotta read a book. But this book is half a book, and the rest of it is the affirmations and what you heal for yourself. And also, this book was so easy to read. It was a breeze. It was fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I was like bookmarking things and stuff.
She might be the original person that said, I want you to do this every morning. Stand, look in a mirror, look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. I really love you. Which, of course, has been parodied, the self-help thing, but it had to start somewhere. And I'm going to go ahead and say she was a big starter of this.
She was the inspiration for Stuart Smalley.
Yeah.
You're good enough.
I think so.
You're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people love you.
And she says, it really helps to look into your own eyes. I'm looking into your eyes.
I like that.
So, I just had this cold, and I tried to, at the beginning of the cold, I did, I Googled it. I no longer have the book. I don't know what I did with my, but I Googled cough, and it said, I am relaxed. My mind is relaxed and at peace.
Ooh.
And I said that
Whoa.
maybe 600 goddamn times.
Really?
And when I felt like I was getting this cold, and guess what? I got a really bad cold. It just progressed. And I was on an airplane. I was thankful that it was not COVID. I still have it a little bit now. It's a 10-day cold. And I started when I first felt the tickle. It did not work.
What? Okay, maybe it was wrong because this one says something different for your cough.
Oh, I did the wrong
Ready?
affirmation.
This one says, because the way the book is set up too is like, so it says, the idea is that you can heal your life of everything. Literally everything.
She says she cured herself of cancer, but then she got cancer again and died. But she cured herself once doing affirmations. I'm not doing a good sell of it because I do think a lot of this is really important because it's about mind-body connection. It's about self-love, self-acceptance.
Yeah, but I do think that there's so much. I think laughter is healing. I think affirmations are really powerful and strong. But I do think if you're a baby who has cancer, that you did not cause your own cancer.
Yeah, it's problematic.
Yeah,
it's a little bit problematic. But some of I wrote down a couple of phrases. Experiences are outer effects of inner thoughts. I mean, that makes sense.
I love that.
Whatever you say you are, that's how you proceed in life.
Yeah.
The more self-hatred and guilt we have, the less our life works.
Love that.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
What's your philosophy of your life working? Being free and open and loving?
Yeah, actually, you pretty much nailed it. Yeah.
I mean,
so.
But you're also judging whether or not someone's life works or not.
That's true.
Based on this concept of being in tune.
That's true. I think that I don't feel like life is joy, and that's why I can't be around miserable people for too long. It bums me out, and I like to find joy in things even when they're bad.
I agree. But I think that's why we get along so well, is because we both feel that way, but we also are both sarcastic. We both realize that there's pain and conflict.
Yeah.
And
do you want to hear what her thing said your cough said you wanted to do? You know, this is get judgy. You had a desire to bark at the world and say things like, see me, listen to me.
yeah,
That's what you wanted.
I sure did.
And instead, your affirmation should have been, I am noticed and appreciated. This is making me very happy, though. This part is. I love her again. I am noticed and appreciated.
I am noticed and appreciated
in the most positive ways.
in the most positive ways.
I am loved.
I am loved.
Is your cough gone?
No. What did I Google? Where did mine come from? I just got the same thing. A desire to bark at the world. Listen to me.
Ooh.
I'm noticed and appreciated in the most. Now I'm getting yours.
Yeah.
Siri heard you.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Now I'm only seeing see me and listen to me. What did I Google?
Yeah.
But I mean, my point being,
You accidentally Googled, how do I make my cough worse?
Yeah. Oh my God.
it wants to come out. It wants to come out, guys. You're in luck. Everyone's in luck. It's gonna be great. I just don't think anything would have stopped that cold.
No,
I think it was going to
so
run its
either.
course, and it was one of those things where I thought, you know how you do when you're like, okay, I had one day where I felt really bad. It's going to be better tomorrow. It was worse.
Yeah.
And I just was like, okay, so I have to lay here for 2 full days.
Yes.
And then the 3rd day, it's going to be terrible, but I'll be walking around my house. And then the 4th day,
yeah.
it feels like a regular cold. Like, I just can't imagine. I'm taking the time to describe that because sometimes these affirmations, it's like,
Yeah.
the fuck are you talking about?
Yes. One
It
of
doesn't
the
matter
ones.
how many times I say it. My body's going to run its course with this.
Yes. And again, like there's a couple of things that pissed me off about it. One, well, I guess 3. The baby thing, I already said that. But also, everyone I've ever known who had arthritis was the sweetest person in the world. And there was a thing, I think my father had told me, what?
Arthritis. I was going to look it up while you were talking.
Yeah, here you go. Also a hilarious one is constipation. It's some of them are so obvious. It's like you're feeling stuck and you won't let go. I'm like, yeah, that's constipation.
Let go.
But my dad was like, oh, they say that arthritis is caused by like stubbornness or resentment or something like that. And I was like, Dad, don't you dig? He's the sweetest man ever.
But listen to this. I'm in a devil's advocate. Your dad.
Oh no.
Arthritis, feeling unloved, criticism, resentment. I am loved, but feeling unloved speaks to maybe he feels that way subconsciously, even though he's a nice person. Like if my thing was, see me, I want to be listened to. That doesn't mean I'm not open or haven't worked on myself.
Yeah.
But there's still a part of me that wants to be seen. Maybe there's a part of him that was feeling unloved, even though he's a very loving person.
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
love. I now choose to love and approve of myself. I see others with love. Like, that's the interesting part about like subconscious and how you conduct yourself. Like, you don't know what things maybe your dad hasn't dealt with, but he's dealt with because he's a intelligent, caring person. So he's like, this is how I want to be, but he could still have some nuggets of things that he's lived with his entire life that he maybe hasn't really gotten in touch with.
Interesting. He's so woo woo though. I was
he?
going to a meeting the other day, and I called my dad and I was like, "Hey Dad, I'm going to a meeting. Will you put positive energy out in the universe to open their heart and mind?" And he said, "Yeah, sure. I'll jump right on that. Okay, I'll call you later." And then he got off the phone to do that.
Really?
Yeah. My dad will
He's
ask
like a
like
Reiki.
he'll say like, can can I put some positive energy on this? Can I pray for this? And it doesn't mean like, because he's a big meditator type person, but he'll like pray on it, as in like sending positive energy to the universe to have a thing happen.
That's amazing.
If you have a thing that you want, I'll call my dad and be like, hey, Mary Lynn's trying to hook up with this dude. Will you put positive energy?
I'm that lady now.
I don't know.
That's my main mission in life for the next 30 days.
I think it would be funny to have my dad pray on your sex
Yeah, I got you.
life.
No problem. I'll get it right
Yeah.
We'll get you fucked real quick. No problem.
Okay,
but then now I'm flipping back to it is infuriating, especially when someone you love, you're like, really, like, how can this thing is happening. I mean, my mom died of cancer. It's like horrific. Like that. Like there's no, it's beyond offensive to think that like, oh really, she's just gonna like pray this
and that her hatred,
this long drawn out 3 years of dismal diagnosis that she actually dealt with really, really well for a long time, that eventually was too strong for the medicine, that lasted. And then it towards the end, and I know this happens with people where there's an experimental thing they can do, but she was too weak to even go through that. But it's like, how do you apply any of this to a situation like that, where someone is also clearly wants to be alive, and is fighting to be better. The emotional link to diarrhea, which is spelled wrong. That's not the right spelling.
No,
That's
it's
an
not.
alternate spelling for diarrhea.
Is an old-timey spelling?
Yeah, it's like an old-timey spelling.
The
For
old-timey
real?
spelling get worse. We made it better and still
It's the
kept
British
it that
one. I know. That's what
terrible.
I was thinking. You're blaming it on the British. The emotional link to diarrhea is fear, rejection, running off.
See what I mean? I feel like half of these are just puns.
Well, the positive affirmation is my intake, assimilation, and elimination are in perfect order. I am at peace with my life. Hey, you know what? Everybody can use this one. I'm not pointing any fingers.
Yeah.
Let's go. Wait, I'll say, so this is for diarrhea. My intake, assimilation, and elimination are in perfect order. I am at peace with life. Now can we go to constipation?
Sure.
Yeah.
See the flip side of the coin here?
I've got the constipation right here,
Okay.
actually. Refusing to release old ideas. Stuck in the past. Sometimes stinginess. And then you say, this is what you say while you're pooping, probably. As I release the past, the new and fresh and vital enter. I allow life to flow through me.
Wow.
Oh. Like the dry eye, dysentery. Some of them just say like a body part. Ears.
What's ears?
It says ears represents the capacity to hear. I
does.
hear with love.
Oh, shit.
Wait, hold on. Before we finish, I heard a rumor from your mouth that you worked for Hay House.
I did. I briefly worked for Hay House. I did social media stuff for them. Like I had to cut together, like motivational like cards and stuff like that would have sections from the various books that they were getting ready to publish or whatever.
And did it have any effect on you, or were you like, this is dumb, or were you, this is fine, or this is just, or was it a kink? Did you think this is just not for me, or did you kind of get into it?
I was not really into it when it was just a job, and then it was still just a job throughout the entire thing. But you do see sort of how the sausage is made type thing, because I was obviously like CC'd on all of the stuff about how they were planning to do the rollouts and everything, and the order that the books would be put in, and I obviously I didn't work for Louise Hay herself. I just worked for Hay
Yeah.
House, which is the publisher that she founded.
But still.
But yeah, and how they would spin up, they kind of repackage the same books over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again at Hay House. So they have like a whole plan for the entire year.
I mean, how good was it? Because I just found the diagram that they included, and
Oh, fuck yeah.
Why is that so goddamn funny? What is the one above? What, that's less than rudimentary. That's just someone closed their eyes and did some squiggles to represent the organs. That is the worst representation of
this
a
is
body.
the new version of this book. They could have updated it.
Wait, what are we doing with this drawing? What's
I don't know
the point
because
of you
nothing.
having that in there?
Well, because nothing before or after relates to it.
They had
It's
to fill
just
up
an
pages,
illustration.
guys.
Yeah, they had to fill a
pages.
page, and they had a weird person with. By the way, their arms are too long.
A diagram and then they credit the person.
Yeah,
What is this organ that's above everything else? That little loop.
that.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be the heart? I think that's
Oh no.
that's the heart pre-illustration.
Wait, this has to be connected to
it's not
trying to show something in
Nope.
particular.
because the next page is new prayers.
New thought patterns. I mean, this alone makes me turn against this book entirely. What are we doing? It's like a weird face inside there going, ah.
And what is this like? Is this a lung pattern of things? And why is that circled?
Okay, so that's supposed to be the intestine.
Yeah.
But what's that and what's that? If that's the heart, which is creepy. What's this organ?
I don't know. You just got it looks like a gallbladder for a heart and
What do we have up here?
wait. There's a diaphragm and a kidney in there somewhere. Wait, is it diaphragm?
Kidney's
No.
down.
Well, diaphragm's just
Diaphragms underneath your
Diaphragms,
lungs.
But this
Yeah.
is not a lung or a diaphragm.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind would not draw. Everyone draws lungs exactly the same.
Yes.
But what are they drawing then?
It feels
If
like a
what's
liver or a
underneath your
spleen.
lungs? There's no organs.
Oh, he said spleen. I forgot a spleen existed.
Where's the spleen? Up here? No,
I feel like your
down.
spleen is like just beneath your ribs. And
Yeah, I
your liver
think
is like right
Yeah.
on there,
you're
too.
nailing it with the spleen.
Can you see that?
We can see. We can
Maybe
see it on the
that's
monitor.
just because this is located in above what I'm guessing is the intestine. So maybe it's just stretched. They didn't do the right proportion. It's like how they do the map of the world where they stretch it out.
Yeah, and it's like that doesn't go
They're just
there.
isolating. It's
Yeah.
got to be the spleen and the kidney, but
Ooh,
no.
yeah, I know.
This is terrible.
I know.
This is terrible. What are we doing? Why did you bother drawing in like the ear and the eye?
Just yeah. It doesn't make any
What
sense.
are we doing here?
Also,
we should burn this
They're also
book.
a bit sassy, which I kind of like.
Little contrapposto. It's
They're
like
a little
she-
bit like
It's like an art school posing, so you can get
Sure
the
is.
weight, the body weight.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, baby. Oh, it's trying to be. But why did they just put it floating
yeah.
above and next to the heart? Why is it? It's,
That you can't fit all the organs in one drawing.
Okay,
You gotta
first of
pick
all-
and choose the organs. that you
I'm
can
I'm
include.
irate. They didn't take the time to make the torso long enough, and then somebody was super high and just like put a
Yeah.
couple circles in there.
Also, what's that like
what are
crotch
you
hump?
doing? What is the crotch hump? You can't willy-nilly be like, oh, here's a pubis bone, but then here are these other blobs that are supposed to be organs.
We've got a bone to pick with Hay House.
So there's two random organs, and then the intestine, and then some kind of pubis mound, but nothing else.
Also, just don't call it a diagram. Call it like my daughter's drawing.
Thank you. Why does it say diagram underneath it? Kidneys, gallbladder, pancreas. I like that. I had to look at a diagram to even think of more than
Yeah.
two organs.
Oh my god. That
Liver,
was amazing.
spleen. Who Who in their right mind
stomach
just put those two circles?
I don't know.
Which were you supposed to pick the organs that's representing?
I don't know. This is amazing.
No brain. They didn't put the brain in there.
Who knew we were going to get
Ooh,
so
the
much mileage out of a photo?
The pharynx,
Oh,
and the
God.
larynx. The pharynx and the larynx. I don't know if I've ever said those words out loud. I thought I knew how to say it, and then it wouldn't come out of my mouth.
I spilled a little of my hydrator on your carpet.
Oh,
That's fine.
boy.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, this was a lovely woo that you do episode. We learned all about Hay House.
That drawing got me really worked up. Hey, guys, would you please like and subscribe? Give us 5 stars. Also, write in and tell us if you use affirmations and what for and if they've worked.
Yes. Have you healed your life? Our email is thatwillyoudoo@gmail.com. I know in these first couple episodes we have not done a lot of viewer submission stuff, but we're letting them come in, and then we'll start having them more on our podcast. So please write us in. Let us know your experiences. We're so excited to get an outside perspective.
I'm Mary Lynn, and this is Jeffrey, and we'll see you later on That Woo You Do.
We know
Bye.
that life is shit and we can all get so fed up with it. It may be weird, but hey, it works for you. Go on and pour some Kool-Aid for 2 and tell us what's the woo that you do.